Bruno Fernandes, when released from his tactical shackles and returned to his freest instinct, is truly a terrifying prospect. This isn't just emotional sentiment, it is a reality proven by cold hard statistics and a sublime performance in the Manchester Derby. In an afternoon where the red half of Manchester reclaimed their pride, their captain sent a thunderous message. He isn't finished. He was simply misplaced in a system that stifled his creativity for far too long. When the final whistle blew, sealing a convincing 2-0 victory for the Red Devils, all eyes were on Michael Carrick, Dorgu, and new signing Bryan Mbeumo. But deep within the tactical analysis, one realizes the key to that victory lay at the feet of Bruno Fernandes. SofaScore rated him an 8.6, the highest on the pitch, surpassing even the goal scorers. Gone was the image of a midfielder forced to grind deep. Gone were the disjointed runs in a rigid 3-4-3 system. The Bruno we saw, and will likely see moving forward, is the embodiment of constant danger. He roamed freely, dominated space, and most importantly, engineered lethal chances. The fear Bruno instills isn't just in the assist for the opener, but in how he made Man City look fragile and vulnerable. Bruno Fernandes' freedom is the ultimate weapon Manchester United had forgotten, and now that it has been reactivated, the Red Devils are becoming unpredictable once again. To truly appreciate the value of this newfound freedom, we must revisit the gloom that preceded it. Under the brief reign of Ruben Amorim, the Portuguese tactician brought his 3-4-3 philosophy to Old Trafford, a system where the role of a pure, number 10 feet was virtually extinct. In that setup, Bruno Fernandes was the sacrificial lamb. He was dragged deep, forced to cycle possession from the back and scrap like a box-to-box midfielder. Rather than prowling the edge of the opponent's box, the heat maps under Amorim tell the tragic story of wasted talent. Bruno's hotspots were stuck in the center circle or drifting wide to cover defensive duties. He burned his energy chasing shadows instead of unleashing killer passes or taking shots. Playing so far from goal neutered Bruno's threat. His trademark long-range rockets and defense splitting through balls became a rarity. Amorim had his reasons. He wanted a compact structure, but in doing so, he turned the team's most creative star into a blue-collar workhorse. This restriction didn't just hurt Bruno's stats, it made Manchester United's attack blunt, predictable, and one-dimensional. This explains the paradox. While Bruno still led the league in chances created, the team's conversion rate was abysmal. Enter Michael Carrick. Upon taking the interim reins, he made a simple yet revolutionary decision. He returned Bruno to his natural habitat. Against Man City, Carrick reverted to the 4-2-3-1, a system designed to maximize the Portuguese Magnifico. It was like releasing a beast from its cage. Bruno was deployed right behind the striker, free to exploit the tight pockets of space between the opposition's midfield and defense. With Casemiro and Mainoo anchoring the midfield and sweeping up second balls, Bruno was relieved of his defensive shackles. The result was instant. Bruno looked like a fish back in water, connecting play and dictating the tempo. Carrick saw what his predecessor missed. Bruno needs space and freedom to let his football IQ shine. Post-match, Carrick couldn't hide his satisfaction. I've spoken to Bruno. I've known him for a long time. And today he was simply magnificent. His positioning was intelligent, especially how he occupied the spaces. His class is undeniable. When played in the right role, he is a genuine threat and a difference maker. This wasn't just empty praise, it was the recognition of a game changer. And the stats back it up. For 10 years, Pep Guardiola has dominated the Premier League, turning it into his personal playground. Never in that decade has a single player created 4 big chances against a Guardiola team in a Premier League match. Never, until Bruno Fernandes did it last weekend. Against a scientifically organized City defense, creating 1 or 2 chances is hard enough. Bruno created 4. This proves his vision is on another level. He sees passes that others simply don't. And this isn't a fluke. Just last month against Wolves, he also created 4 big chances. He is the only player in the Premier League this season to achieve this feat twice. Looking back at the last 3 seasons, there have only been 4 instances of a player creating 4 big chances in a single game. 3 of them belong to Bruno Fernandes. These cold, hard numbers send a definitive message. Bruno is not the problem at Manchester United. He is the only solution keeping their attack alive. With that masterclass against City, Bruno has now officially surpassed the milestone of 600 chances created in his Premier League career. To truly grasp the magnitude of this figure, let's draw a comparison from the moment Bruno made his debut in the English top flight. The number of chances he has created exceeds the next player on the list, Kevin De Bruyne, by a staggering 168. One of the reasons Bruno was stifled under Amorim was the persistent view that he and the young prodigy Kobbie Mainoo could not coexist in the same lineup. Amorim believed this combination would unbalance the midfield, but Michael Carrick proved the exact opposite. In the derby, Carrick boldly started Mainoo alongside Casemiro in the heart of the midfield within a 4-2-3-1 system. This decision completely liberated Bruno. Mainoo, with his elite press resistance, tempo control, and a passing accuracy of up to 91%, became the solid platform allowing Bruno to push forward with confidence. Mainoo's composure and technique facilitated smooth ball progression from deep, alleviating the burden on Bruno to drop back and retrieve possession. Meanwhile, Casemiro focused on his duties of cleaning up and intercepting. The trio of Casemiro, Mainoo, and Bruno formed a perfect vertical spine, ensuring defensive solidity while maintaining creative potency in attack. It wasn't just about shining in attack, when allowed to play freely. Bruno also contributed actively to the remote defensive structure. Carrick emphasized, "What impressed me most was Fernandes' defensive discipline. He and Bryan Mbeumo excelled in the task of protecting the central areas, preventing Man City from playing through the middle." The chemistry between Bruno and Mainoo is proof that Man United does not lack quality pieces. They simply lacked a skilled mechanic to assemble those pieces in the right places. And Carrick is doing exactly that. Following the coaching turbulence, Bruno Fernandes' future became a hot topic. Rumors of an escape to the Saudi Pro League or rifts with the board appeared frequently. He once publicly expressed hurt upon learning the club intended to sell him. However, after the victory over Man City, things have become clearer. Reliable sources confirm Bruno remains fully committed to the Red Devils for the remainder of the season. His plan is to keep fighting and only re-evaluate his future this summer, when his contract has just 1 year remaining. Manager Michael Carrick affirmed, "When the team needs something, Bruno is the one who steps up." That quote encapsulates the quality of the captain. Regardless of the circumstances, whether the team is in decline or soaring, Bruno is always the one who gives his all, shoulders responsibility, and never hides. The Man United board may weigh his age and attractive financial offers, but they must also calculate a more critical economic equation, the Champions League ticket. The revenue and status from this arena are irreplaceable, and to achieve that goal, Man United needs Bruno Fernandes. With this current, free version, he is the great hope to guide the Red Devils back to the top four. The victory in the Manchester Derby brought not just 3 points, but a conviction. Manchester United is only truly terrifying when Bruno Fernandes is allowed to be himself. Bruno's freedom is not in discipline, it is the liberation of a great talent. When relieved of excessive defensive tasks and allowed to play closer to the opponent's goal, Bruno transforms into a weapon of mass destruction, a creative machine that every opponent must fear. Michael Carrick was right to restore the captain status, and Bruno repaid that trust with a top-class performance. Premier League, take warning, the creative monster of Old Trafford has awakened, and when Bruno is free to dance with the ball, no defense is safe, even if it is Manchester City.